Hi, this is Kevin Trainer, and welcome to part 3 of my tutorial for the forms assignment that we're doing for the Easy University project. And in this part, we add the delete pages. And when we get done, we're going to have a full CRUD database application for all of the tables in the database. The primary tables: the instructor, the section, the course, the semester, the student. For the most part, we're going to be following the approach taken in the Pinkham book, but we are going to detour here a bit and do something slightly different, and it has to do with how we really want the deletes to behave in a proper business record keeping application that is kind of different from what Pinkham seems to be able to tolerate in a blog application. So let's look at the checklist that we have for this third part, make the delete pages. So first, we're going to go to urls.py and we're going to add the delete pattern for this page. Second, we're going to go to the model class and we're going to add a method for get delete URL, pretty similar to things we've done before. Third, we're going to go to views and we're going to create a class-based view for delete. Okay. Fourth, we're going to finally create the confirm delete.html file, the template that I think that Pinkham had us creating that long ago when we created the rest of the templates, but I kind of held off on that because we weren't able to test it until now. And having code you haven't tested is perhaps even worse than not having the code at all. Okay, so we've held off until now for a good reason. Number 5 is something that really is a departure from the approach taken in the Pinkham book, and that is in addition to having a confirm page, we're going to have a reviews page. And by reviews, perhaps this isn't the best name for it. Perhaps it should be called an error page. But we're going to refuse to do the delete in some cases. And this is going to tell the user why. Okay, so the confirm delete page, we very politely said, oh yeah, well, yeah, we'll delete that. Just confirm that you want to do it. And they click on the form and then that's it. And on the refuse page, we're going to say, you can't do that. You can't delete this instance of instructor or semester or whatever it is. And we're going to tell them why. And the why is going to be that it's being used, and it's being used by a section, right? So, whereas the default behavior in Django with regard to deletes is kind of nice, and it never leaves the database broken with its referential integrity broken. Okay, it does leave your data in a pretty bad state. So, for instance, let's say that we decide that we're going to delete the instructor, Kevin Trainer, and he's teaching 3 sections that we've already set up. Well, what's going to happen when we delete the instructor, Kevin Trainer? Well, the default approach that follows the code in the Pinkham book is it's going to let you delete Kevin Trainer. And then when you go to the sections, you're going to see that he's no longer an instructor for that section. So it doesn't leave inconsistent data, but if in fact we've said that each a section has to have at least one instructor, well, now we break that that schema rule for the database. Okay, and generally speaking, when we're using this kind of applications, we've got kind of 2 kinds of tables. We've got hybrids of them too, but we have these kind of tables like a section that represent a kind of a complex business fact, that we have a section for this semester, and it's for a particular course, and it has particular instructors, and it has particular students. I mean, that's a sort of a complex business fact. The other tables are really lookup tables. Okay, they're just they allow us to record the facts of the data in relational style. So the instructor table, we really shouldn't be deleting a row in the table or an instance of the model class if it's currently being used in a section. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 2 treatments here. For section, if you say you want to delete a section, well, it's going to send you a confirm page, and if you really want to do it, it will delete it for you. Okay. For the other tables, for the 4 other tables, instructor, course, semester, and student, it's not going to allow you to even think about doing the delete if that instructor, course, semester, or student is being used in an already defined section. It's going to send you the refuse page, and then the refuse page is going to say, oh, well, the reason we can't do the delete for you, the reason that we're refusing, is that this instructor or whatever is currently associated with the following sections. Okay, so it's going to be a very polite page where in fact the user is going to get a link for the section, so they can go and look, and they can perhaps say, oh, well, geez, I really do want to delete Kevin Trainer. Let's give that section to Jane Scholar, so they can, over on the section, they can do an edit and change the instructor. And then when they come back, if that's the only section that Kevin Trainer has been teaching, then when they go to delete him, it's not going to complain. It's just going to give you the confirm page. Now, this is typically what we do in business record keeping. We don't allow these the entries in the lookup tables to be deleted and to kind of decimate the facts in the more fact-oriented tables like section. And the fact that Pinkham allows it to happen in the blog application, it reveals one of 2 things. One is he doesn't want you to worry about it yet, or 2, he feels that that's just the way data in blogs, blogs are. If we're not going to track a tag anymore, then that's fine. And if we're not If we're not going to track something anymore and we're going to remove it from the system, that's okay. As long as you confirm it, we'll subtract it completely out of the database. But you definitely don't want to do it in a record-keeping system like this. Okay, and then of course we have to change the detail.html file to do the delete, and we have to test. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk you through two of them because they're going to be different. I'm going to walk you through the instructor first, and of course that's the one that you're going to be kind of cloning for course, semester, and student. And then I'm going to walk you through the section because it goes a little bit different. So, okay, for instructor, we want to create the URL pattern. Let's go do that. So, let's go to the URLs. Okay. And we want to do instructor delete. Okay. And I am going to, well, it turns out I already have the code here. Because of the copying I did when I caught up to you guys the last time, I already put the code here. So here's the delete. Okay? I'm sorry, that's the detail. So we have the list, we have the detail, we have the create, we have the update, and now we have the delete. So what's the delete like? Well, the delete was really modeled after the detail in the update, because the delete has to take, it needs an instructor ID. Okay, so just at the end it says delete, and then of course the name of the class-based view in views.py is Instructor Delete. And then, of course, the name of this URL pattern is Instructor Delete. Okay, so we've added that. Okay, so then let's go look at views. And I bet I've got my code in views as well, which I guess is okay. So let's go to views. Let's go and find instructor delete. So instructor detail, instructor create, instructor update, instructor delete. So we actually have this. Okay, so it has quite a bit of code that looks like code for the change. Okay, but here's what happens. So first, we're going to check to make sure that we're going to get the instructor object from the model, and that should be found. Okay, because we should be coming from a list that says it's already there. Okay, now we have this extra logic in here. We say, oh, let's just see what sections this instructor is associated with. So how do we do that? Well, we do that like we typically do in a view. We create a query set. And how do we do that? Well, we just use the instructor object, which we already have, and we ask for the sections field. Now, the sections field was not defined on the instructor model, but on the section model. How can we see that? Well, let's go to model. If we go to, let's go to the instructor model. Okay. Instructor ID, first name, last name. Okay, so there's no sections here, but sections, okay, has these many-to-many fields, okay, and it says it has an instructors and a students, okay, and it also says that there's a related name. So on the instructor model instance on the other end, the name that you use to get a list of the sections is sections. And if you notice, we made the name that we use for all of these to be sections because we thought that made sense. So even though you won't find it explicitly coded in the instructor model, it's available because of this related name attribute that we created when we created the model for section. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So that's the wrong view. This is the right view. No, it's not. This is the right view. Okay, so we say, okay, get a query set of all the sections that the instructor is associated with, and then we can call the method count on the query set and find out how many sections are there. And if it's greater than 0, then we've got a problem. Okay? All right. Then what are we going to do? Well, this is interesting. We're going to render a refuse delete page. So this is the name of the template. Okay. And what information do we need to put into the context? Well, we have to know what instructor it's for, because we'll have to render that on the refuse delete page. Okay. And we're going to have to know what sections he's associated with, because we want to be able to put a very polite message on this refusal page that says, well, you can't delete this instructor because here are the sections that he's currently associated with. Okay, and you can only render that in the page if you have put the data into the context. Okay, so this view, again, the view is the main controller element. Okay, it does all the heavy lifting. So it decides that we're sending an error page back, this refusal page, and it retrieves just enough information to render that page when we get down to the template. Otherwise, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to render a confirm page. Okay, so we're going to do a confirm delete page. Okay, and what data do we need to do? We just need the data for the instructor, so that's all that goes into the context. Okay, now let's just think about what we have here. We're in the get. Okay, so the get is what renders the page, either the confirmation page or the refusal page. Okay, a real delete is not going to go on until we send out the confirmation page. The user clicks on the button to confirm that they want to make the delete, and that form, it is a post. Okay, now why are these why are the situations up here get? Well, largely because we're clicking on links. Links always are going to generate a HTTP get. Okay, whereas here the confirmation page has a proper HTML form in it, and it has a button, and when we click on the button, it sends a post. So what do we do with the post? Well, the post is pretty straightforward. First of all, we want to make sure that we can find the instructor that we're supposed to have. Okay, well, we just rendered a confirmation page, so it should be there, or we're big trouble, but we do check. And when we know that we got this a delete back, we only get this if they click on the button that confirms delete, then we're going to do the delete. Okay, and where do we want to go back to? Well, we certainly can't go back to the detail page because we just blew this this instance away. So we're going to go back to the instructor list, and that's where we go. Okay, well, that's how we do it, right? So we have those parts. Okay, so this is the approach that we're going to be taking on the View class for instructor, course, semester, and student. Okay, not for the section, because in the section we're not going to do this kind of check. So this is the extra code that's going into those four model classes or tables that are really what we call lookup tables. Okay. All right. Good. So we got that far. Let's check our to-do list. So, oh, we added the class-based view, but did we add the get delete URL for that? I really forget whether we did that or not. So let's go check too. The code's already there, I think, but let's go look. So let's go to the instructor model class. Okay, so we're going to go to the model. So let's go to the model. And let's go to instructor. Okay. And we had a get absolute URL, get update URL, oh, get delete URL. Okay. And what do we need? Well, we need to refer to the delete URL pattern for instructor. Okay, because we're calling reverse, that means we're going to build the URL string with that. And how many arguments does that take? Well, it just takes an instructor ID, and we call that the requested instructor ID. So these are actually pretty simple. Okay, so we've got that part done. Great. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, which we didn't do in the right order. 4, create the confirm delete HTML file. Okay, and I don't think I've copied that over yet. Let me go look. Do I have confirm delete yet? Instructor, no, I don't have instructor confirm delete. So I'm just going to go find that one in my already baked solution and bring it over and show it to you. And again, I modeled this after the page that Pinkham had several chapters ago for confirm deletes. That's where I found it. So instructor confirm delete. So what's going on here? So we're going to render a page. The title of the page is going to be delete instructor. Okay, and then in the content block, again, we're going to want to make sure that the form, the HTML form, has the right action parameter. In this case, we can just say instructor, and we can call get delete URL. Okay, and of course, these are all going to be a post. Okay, because this is a destructive database action, we certainly don't want it to be forward, so we have this CSRF token in here. Okay, and we want to make it pretty usable. Are you sure that you want to delete instructor? So in this case, it would come out trainer, comma Kevin. Could I have decided to pull out the first name and the last name and put in a natural order name? I could have, and I thought about doing it, but I'm kind of liking it that the instructor name is always showing up in kind of sort order, last name, comma, first name. So I decided just to leave it in its default form. And then we've got some interesting thing. Let's skip the link for cancel, and then let's go right to the button. So the button is just a typical submit button, and it says delete instructor. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Now, what happens if you cancel? We don't have a lot of cancel opportunities in this system as currently designed, but this is a good one. Where is it going to go? Well, it should go to the detail page for this instructor. Okay, we got here. We were on the detail page for the instructor, and then we clicked the link that said that we wanted to delete. Well, if we cancel, we should go back there. Well, how do we get that? We do that with a call to get absolute URL. That is what gives us the URL for the detail page. Okay, pretty cool. All right, and let's also look at this. So we say, if appropriate, if we're not doing the session, then create the refuse delete HTML file. Okay. We're going to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it from my already baked solution. So let me do that. So that's called instructor refuse delete.html. So I'm going to copy that and bring it over here and paste it into my tutorial solution. And there we go. And now we're looking at it. Now, it's similar to similar to the page to confirm, but I made some different decisions here. So the title, I'm calling it Error Deleting Instructor, which is why it should probably be called an error page rather than a reviews page. But I decided on a name and I'm sticking to it. And down here in the content, again, Error Deleting Instructor, and then the paragraph, you may not delete instructor, and then it would say trainer, comma, Kevin. This instructor is currently assigned to the following sections. And then I put in an unordered list. How do I know there are sections? Well, I wouldn't have routed the action to this page if I didn't have at least one section that this instructor was associated with. And I put the list of sections into the context, so now I can get it out for section in sections. Okay, and now it's going to be a list of links. I want these to be links because I don't just want to say that this instructor is attached to a section. I want the user to be able to go there. So we made each of these a link. So for each of the sections, if we want to find out the details, we're going to go to the detail page. How do we do that? Well, with section get absolute URL. And then how do we get the text rendering of the section? We just use section. Okay. And then instead of causing somebody to navigate away, I had to decide what to do here. And I thought, well, if I had to cancel, we just would go back to the detail page for that instructor. And I thought, well, we can't delete that instructor. So let's go to the instructor list. So I decided that this was going to say, give the option return to instructor list. Okay. Could I have decided on another flow of interaction there? Yeah, I think I could, but I like this one enough. All right. So this has got that one done, and it's a pretty helpful page because, again, I say that instructor is involved in these sections, but I'm putting out links where you can go to the detail page for that section and find out the facts without having to navigate all over creation to find that out. Okay. What does that leave? That leaves just a little bit of work for this one. Okay. All right. So it was appropriate. It was not a session. It was instructor. So we're going to create the refuse delete HTML file. And now we just have to go to the instructor detail HTML file. And then we have to add the delete link to the code. We already have a link here for edit. And now we need one for delete. Okay, let's do that. So let's go to our code for instructor detail. And instructor detail is here. Okay, and you say we just had the link for edit. And now we want to have a link for delete. And I'm just going to clone this. Okay. So I'm going to repeat this. I like having the LI set at the same level. So we're going to say get delete URL. We created that method. Get delete, well, not delete URL. Okay, and instead of edit instructor, it's going to be delete instructor. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. And that's all that we have to do there. And that brings us back to our checklist, which again is just test. Okay, so we ought to be able to test the instructor delete now. All right, let's see how that goes. So let's go to our test, our development server. So if we want to list an instructor, so we go here. And okay, that's fine. So let's go to Kevin X trainer and try to delete him. So I do have a link. I have one for edit. While we're here, why don't we just get rid of the X? Seeing as I don't have a middle name X, so we went right back there, Kevin Trainer. And let's try to delete, and we're going to expect to get the refusal page. And we do. Error deleting instructor. You may not delete instructor trainer Kevin. The instructor is currently assigned to the following sections. And cool, I can just go to a section. Yep, I'm the instructor of that one. And this, I'm the instructor of that. Okay, go back. And I decided that the place to go from this area is back to the instructor list. So instructor list, I go back to the instructor list. Pretty good. Okay, well, what if I really want to delete an instructor? Okay, well, it's got to be somebody who doesn't have any sections. Well, I think our buddy Bill Zeus does not have any sections. There are currently no sections for this instructor. Okay, let's say delete. I go to the confirm page, and I can either cancel or delete. So let's just cancel. That should take us back to the detail page for Bill Zeus. Cancel, yep, detail page for Bill Zeus. Okay, so let's say delete again. You go back to the confirm page and click on the delete. And it takes us to the instructor list because there's no detail page to go back to. We just blew away our friend Bill Zeus. And you look on the instructor list, he's not there. So that one worked just fine. Okay, so good. Now, how is it going to be different for section? Okay, you remember that sections really hold all the business facts. Instructors is a lookup table, courses is a lookup table, semesters is a lookup table, students is a lookup table. So you don't want to delete if the rows that you're trying to delete are involved in a section. Well, with a section, if you want to delete it, well, you just want to, you're going to want to confirm that it's the one you want to delete, and you're just going to want to delete it. Okay, so let's see, how would that be different? Well, there are two things that are different here. Okay, it is step one, creating the URL pattern, the same, so I'm not going to show you that again. Step two, add the get delete URL method, same. Okay. Step three, add the delete class-based views to views.py. That's a little different. It's got a little bit less code. It doesn't have the check to see if this instance is in any relationships. Okay, we don't care in this case. If you're going to go ahead and confirm the delete, we'll do the delete. Okay, and then down here, number 5. Okay, so number 3, the class-based view is going to be a little different. And number 5, we're not going to have to create a refuse delete page because we don't have that scenario. So I'm just going to go to this one. I'm just going to go to this one and show you the difference. Okay, what's going to be different? Let's look at the class-based view. Good. So if I go to the class-based view, I think I already have the code there. Let's hope I do. So let's go to views. Okay, and we want to go to section delete, section update, section delete, and here it is. And of course, the second part of it, the post, is pretty much the same pattern we've used before. Okay, and the first part of it, the get, is just considerably simpler. Okay, whereas before, once we confirmed that we had that row, okay, we're able to get back the model instance. Well, then we asked, is it in any relationships? Okay, we're not going to do that. Okay, we're just going to go, we're going to say, okay, you say you want to delete a section? Fine, we're just going to give you the confirmation page. So we send out, we ask to render, and what do we send? We have to have a copy of the request. You have to say what the name of the template is, in this case, section confirm delete, and you have to pass it the section. Okay, because it's going to need the name of the section in order to render that page in a polite way. Okay, so the one that's different, the section is just the section is just, so the get is just simpler code than we had in Instructor Delete. And just go back to Instructor Delete, and we're going to see Instructor Delete. We just had this extra code in here and the Instructor Delete. So the lookup tables are going to have this extra code. That's the difference between the lookup tables and the section table. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish up the section, and then I'm going to let you do the course, the semester, and the student. And at that point, you should have a complete CRUD application for the Easy University database. I'm going to pause here for you to do that, and then I'm going to show you my testing. So see you in a few. Bye-bye. Right back. Okay, we're back, and you should have completed making the delete pages for the rest of the model classes. So you should have done the rest of the work for section. I showed you the things that were different. And then you should have done all the work for course, semester, and student. They should have been pretty much clones of instructor. And I'm just going to take the code that I copied over from my already baked version, and I'm going to show you the testing of it. Okay, so let's do that. So let's go to the development server. Okay, and we've already tested instructors. How about sections? So go to the list of sections. We're on the list of sections, which is good. And let's see. Let's not delete the section for this course. Let's take 490.201 here. Okay, so what do we have? Well, it was from the fall of 2017. I probably would not want to delete it as historical horrors, but let's say we want to. Okay, so we've said if you're tough enough to delete a course, then delete a section, it's going to let you. So click on a delete section, and it says, are you sure you want to delete this? Okay, now maybe I could have said a little bit more here. Okay, maybe I could have said that it had it was a historical course, it was this, it was that. I don't know, but right now if you can either cancel or you can delete. So we're going to delete 490.201, and then we come back to a section list, and 490.201 is gone. Okay, so we've tested the code for sections. Let's do courses. Okay, I know that we have a 691, so let's ask to delete 691. So we've got one section of it. If we say delete it, it's not going to allow us to do it. This is no. There's one section of it, so we can't do that. So let's go back to the course list. Okay, and let's take a course. Let's take this 490dB, which I teach down at Illinois. I don't have any sections currently set up for that. So again, let's say we want to delete. Okay, so it gave me the confirmation page. I can cancel, go back to the detail page, or again, I'm going to say delete again. In here, I'm really going to confirm it with the delete course button. And it's gone. It's not down there anymore. So courses logic for delete is working okay. Let's go to semesters. Okay. So I know we've got some good action in this 2018 spring. So let's pick that, and then let's say we want to delete it. And that's not working. So I bet I didn't copy over all the code. I'll be right back after I fix that. Okay, yeah, that was my problem. I did not create my semester refuse delete page, so now I'm copying it out of my already baked version, so that should get me out of that problem. So let's go back. Let's go back to semesters, and again, spring 2018. It's got some action in it. So if I say, yeah, I want to delete it, it's not going to allow it. It gives me the refusal or error page saying, look, you've got 2 sections. You can't do this. Okay. And let's go. I don't think I have put in any sections for 2016 summer. So let's click on that. No, there are no sections. Good. Why don't we say we want to delete it? Okay. And we can either cancel or delete. So let's cancel, make sure that works. Yeah, that worked fine. And let's say delete again. And this time we're actually going to confirm it with the button. And there you can see that's gone. We don't have any 2016 semesters at all. And finally, let's test the delete for students. Okay, so let's see who we have. Let's look up Jane Scholar. She's not registered for any section, so I want to find somebody. Oh, Millie Willingshead. She's in a couple sections. Now she's in one now. This 490.002. So it shouldn't allow us to delete her. Let's do that. Let's say delete the student. Nope, it's gonna refuse, and it's gonna show us the section that she's in, and we can go there if we want to. That's nice. Okay, and so I'm gonna go, well, let's go up and pick another student, and I think we already saw we could get rid of Jane Scholar because she's not registered for any sections. So let's delete her. And again, I want to be able to cancel, see if that works. Yeah, it goes back to the Jane Q Scholar detail page. And let's ask to delete her again. And we delete. And that's it. She's out of the list. So at this point, we have a full CRUD application for Easy University. And there's a lot more that we're going to do with it. So it's kind of unsophisticated in a lot of regards, so still plenty to do with it, but really a lot accomplished in just a handful of weeks, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So at this point, you probably know enough to start your project solution. Okay, so if you could start your project, if you could pick your project and do everything we've done for Easy University for your project, you're going to be well on your way. And of course, in the meantime, we'll have covered the more sophisticated issues from the Pinkham book, and you'll be able to incorporate all that as well. So this is really a milestone. I know I'm pleased. I hope that you are too. And I'm just going to say bye again until next time. Bye-bye.